you clicked on this video, you probably train hard and eat relatively clean, and you're wondering why you're not getting the results that you'd expect. You probably also watch other people train hard and eat clean, and they get results. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the key things that they're doing and you're not, so that you can implement them into your lifestyle and make lasting changes so that you can keep this physique forever. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan, and I'm excited to show you in this presentation everything that I'm about. So let's go ahead and get right into that. First, I want to start off with saying training hard is not all it takes. Just because you put in a lot of effort doesn't mean you can expect to get the best result possible. It's not all about effort. You want to train smart and hard, not just training hard. So let's go over what the real problem is. If you are training hard and eating relatively clean, it's probably one or more of these four things that I'm about to discuss here. First, a lack of structure. Life gets difficult, things start to pile up, things start to get hard. You can't expect something that has no structure to catch you. So if you are shooting from hip, you have no real plan of action, when things start to stress you out, life starts to happen, you're not going to be able to lean into that structure to keep you on track towards your goals. You're probably going to crumble under pressure. Next, you could be stuck in some sort of negative cycles. The one that I personally have a lot of experience with was binge eating and other principles of self-sabotage, which is very common in this journey. So be real with yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, am I actually consistent? How long do these negative self-sabotage cycles take me at commission? Because I know what it feels like to fall off, and the next thing you know, you've made one mistake and it's turned into 30 mistakes, and you've been off for 3 weeks and you've gained 20 pounds. That's something that's very hard to get caught up in, and half the time we can't get out of it because we're not real with ourselves. Third thing, discipline. I feel like a lot of people lack discipline. It's one of the easiest things to build. However, you have to be intentional and almost force yourself, because it's one of the most uncomfortable things that you will probably do in your life. Next is precision and detail. Sometimes when we go into this, we're just ballparking things or shooting from the hip. The more precise and detailed you are, the better the results will be, and the easier it will be to figure out where the problem is. If you have no idea what the hell is going on, when something goes wrong or you start just straying away from your goal, how are you going to know where the bottleneck or the leak is if you have no idea what's going on? When you are precise and detailed with what your plan is, as soon as something goes wrong or something doesn't add up, you can find exactly where on the map the issue is. But if you don't have that, you kind of have to just hope and pray for the best. And when you hope and pray for the best, you lose a little bit of faith, you begin to get frustrated, you don't really trust your plan because you didn't put any effort into making sure it had structure, precision, and detail. So let's keep moving forward. Now, you may be wondering, Megan, how the fuck do you know that that's the problem? How do you know this is going to work? How do you know that I'm lacking in one of those four departments? Well, if you can look here with me on the right side of the screen, I personally went through this myself. I struggled a lot with negative cycles of binge eating. I wanted the physical results so damn bad that I kind of just ballparked my plan. I was like, all right, I'm just going to eat as little as humanly possible, do as much cardio and as much training as possible, and hopefully somewhere in between, I'll get the result that I'm looking for. And I did that mainly because I had a lack of knowledge, and I was also very insecure, so I was in a rush. So that lack of structure, precision, strategy, detail made it hard for me to get results, and ultimately gave some result, but then I kept falling back to square one. I kept falling back to square one because it's never been a question of my effort. I have always trained hard and given everything that I've got every single time I've embarked on anything. But my plan was inefficient, therefore making the results hard to get to, hard to keep, ultimately something I couldn't keep at the end of the day, which led for me to keep regressing and regressing and regressing until I finally faced the real issues, which was one, if not more, of those four things. The main things I struggled with was, to be completely honest, all four of them. I wouldn't get where I wanted to be fast enough, so I would binge, and then I would binge again, then I would restrict, and then it would lead me to binge, and then I would restrict, and then it just kept happening and happening and happening and happening, and next thing you know, I put on even more weight than when I started. I was depressed, I was upset, and I was wondering what the hell I was doing wrong. And then, of course, I struggled with discipline. I would say I would do one thing, and then I wouldn't do it, and then I wondered, why am I so insecure? Oh my god, I don't know. Well, it's because everything that comes out of my mouth is a fucking lie. I can't even trust the words that come out of my mouth. In what world would I be confident enough in myself to be able to do anything? And then lastly, precision and detail. That has a lot to do with the structure. The structure wasn't even down, so I was not precise nor detailed with anything. And a lot of this was part of learning, the learning curve of going through this on my own and kind of having to figure it out. When, had I just known this from the beginning, I would have made much faster progress and saved myself a lot of time. And so you can see here on the right some of my progression. If you have any questions about my actual journey or anything that you want to know about me, I'm going to just take a second to say here, you can DM me on Instagram. I will get back to you with a voice message that my Instagram will be linked in the description of this video, or you can go ahead and comment down below and I can either make a video about it or I can personally respond to you. So this is exactly how I know that those 4 things are the main bottlenecks and problems in actually achieving your dream physique, because nutrition and training is a very not minute, it's important to getting you where you want to be, but those things don't matter when we don't look at or address all the other issues, which is what I'm kind of trying to highlight with this presentation. So I want to go ahead and show you guys what I've created, not only for myself, but my clients, that is the way of combating those 4 bottlenecks or issues that I mentioned. Now, the first thing being a lack of structure. When shit hits the fan, when life gets tough, if you have a plan with barely any structure, that shit is not going to catch you. You're going to fall into that when you get knocked down by life, and then it's going to crumble underneath you and you're going to fall, hit the ground, and probably regress in terms of your progress. And so that is what led me to create the PI mechanism. So reframe the mind to reframe the reality. So many people think that this is just a physical journey. Okay, what do I eat? How do I train? Let's look at the mental default that led you to be lazy, indisciplined, insecure, maybe overweight, whatever your case may be. That is what I personally struggled with. It was never that I was unaware of training and nutrition. I was made aware very quick of training and nutrition and how those are almost the pillars of actually scientifically transforming yourself. What the issue was my mental fortitude, was the structure. I didn't have anything that was able to give me the results. So whenever you put in a lot of effort into something, like I said, think about it like an engine. If you put all of your effort into a very inefficient engine that's leaking everywhere and it doesn't efficiently use gas, no matter how much effort you put in, you're going to get a subpar result. Whereas if you put all of your effort into an engine that is efficient and that utilizes every ounce of effort you put into it, you're going to get a much better result for no more effort. It's going to be the same amount of effort. So if the effort can stay the same, but you can get better results by just tweaking the systems or the mechanisms, wouldn't you argue you'd rather use the most efficient mechanism? So the PI mechanism, is the most efficient mechanism that I have used on all of my clients and myself. So it's a strategy tailored to your physiological and psychological patterns. That is why it is called the PI mechanism. As much as this seems like it's just a physical journey, I promise you guys it is 50% psychological. And so the congruent letters amongst those 2 words is P and Y, hence PI mechanism. I built the PI method through my own personal trial and error with data I've collected from myself. After trying a bunch of different diets, training styles, and methods, I wanted the PI mechanism to be something I could trust. That way, when I'm living life, going traveling, I could have the peace of mind that I'm still on track towards my goals and feeling the most confident in myself. When you have a plan of action, detail, precision, structure, strategy, it is almost impossible to fail. And you also have to incorporate things that are specific to you into that structure, strategy, precision, detail. This is not a cookie cutter plan. This is not a one size fits all. A lot of coaches out there and just a lot of people in general that are coaching themselves focus on nutrition and training. While that is a huge part of actually making visible changes to your body, it all starts with your mind. Because where you're currently at right now, if you're stuck there and you don't like it, it is a result of a lapse somewhere in your judgment or your mental fortitude. And so trying to outwork the mindset aspect of this by just slapping a super steep calorie deficit, insane amounts of cardio, will only take you so far. It'll probably take you as far as whatever point you burn out at. That's really as far as you're going to go. And so what we're trying to do is make this sustainable by changing your mindset and then adapting your lifestyle to be able to be something that yields you that physique and that result, so that you can live by that instead of having to force yourself into a box. So the 4 parts of the PI mechanism are: identify the points in your mind. Whatever it is that you can identify about yourself up here is exactly the reason why you are right where you are. Whether you like where you are, whether you don't like where you are, it doesn't matter. If you like your reality or you don't like your reality, you are there because of how your mind is wired, the decisions that you make every single day. Next, analyze your patterns. Do you have negative patterns, positive patterns? What do these patterns cause you to do? What reality or result is that giving you? A lot of the times, if you don't like your physique, if you don't like your lifestyle, if you don't like your job, if you don't like something, it has a lot to do with the choices that you make through those patterns that you tend to revert to when your brain switches to autopilot. Next, construct the machine. So like I said, the machine that you put all your effort into can be made to be more efficient, giving you a better result without making you put in much more effort. And so build that machine in a very literal sense, according to your lifestyle, your preferences, your schedule, all those kinds of things, which we'll get into here in a second. And then next, consistently refining that machine to make sure that you're always efficient. So making sure that everything is coinciding or congruent with your lifestyle, the less friction that you experience on this journey and with your machine, the more likely you're going to be to stick to it, the easier it's going to be to stick to it, and the more it will flow with your lifestyle, allowing you to keep this physique and live your life. So before we get into the 4 pillars of the PI mechanism, I want to discuss who this is for and who this is not for, so that if this is not for you, you can go ahead and exit the video. This is for people who are burnt out, who know that they are capable of more, who put in a lot of effort but aren't getting the results, who have the drive but just don't know how to direct it. That is who this is for. This is for people who know that they are capable of more, who want to be the best versions of themselves, and they're tired of making excuses. It's for people who want to up their standards and stick to it. Not for people who are scared to hold themselves accountable, not for people who know that they are lazy, not for people who are not willing to change, people that want quick fixes, people that are still struggling with admitting to themselves that they're the problem and that they're in a victim mindset or mentality. This is for people who want real, lasting change, not a quick fix, not a get shredded quick scheme, none of that shit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hop right into discussing the 4 pillars of the PI mechanism. So first, we're going to look at your mind. What are your habits? Your habits form your lifestyle. If matter is made of atoms, think of matter as your life, and atoms are the little habits that you make every single day. Now, a lot of us, and me sometimes too, tend to live life on autopilot. When we live life on autopilot, we lean on those old habits and patterns. So what are your habits? What do you tend to do when things get tough? What do? Look at those habits. Analyze the good ones. Propel them forward. Look at the bad ones. Dismantle them. Ask yourself why. Why do I do this? Why can't I handle this? Why do I revert back to this way of thinking or this action? Next, be real with yourself. When do you tend to give up? Sometimes the result that we want takes a lot longer than we probably think it will, leading us to believe that the plan doesn't work, we're doing something wrong, or we're just incapable, when in reality we were just impatient. Next, do I lead myself through tough times, or do I let my emotions run me? You're going to feel a million things. What you want will never change. The path to what you want will never change. Facts, reason, logic will never change. Feelings are meant to be felt, not as a map to what you need to do or directions on how to get where you want to be. Do you lead yourself through tough times? Do you feel things? Do you feel pain? Do you feel emotions? And show yourself that you will be able to carry yourself out of this and lead yourself where you want to be? Or do you have a tough day, a tough time, go through something really painful and say, okay, I'm going to just give up for the day, or I'll get back to it when I feel my best, or I'll keep moving forward when I'm at 100%. That is not how you get through life. If your emotions derail you every single time, unfortunately, you're never going to get there, because life doesn't slow down or stop when you want to reach your goals. Nobody's nicer or easier on you when you're trying to get where you want to be. You just develop into a person who can handle shit, take it on the chin, and then move forward. Next, ask yourself if you self-sabotage. It's a very obvious question, but half the time, even with myself personally, when I would think about all the reasons as to why I wasn't where I wanted to be, all of it was my fault, because you got to take responsibility, but all of it was principles of self-sabotage. I binged because I was frustrated and insecure. That was keeping me stuck, because every single binge not only took a physical toll on me by making me eat a lot more than I probably needed to, but a mental toll on me every single time. I had no trust in myself that I was going to be able to do what I truly knew deep down that I wanted. And so just take a look at that. Do you self-sabotage? Because majority of us do. Being able to pinpoint why you're self-sabotaging is how you stop it. Because no one just randomly self-sabotages. A lot of people self-sabotage because they think it's helping them, but in reality, it's hurting them. And usually people self-sabotage because they experience tough things and they can't handle it, so they reach for a crutch, when they should have let themselves feel it, feel the pain, feel the hurt, feel the suffering, and then keep moving forward. That is what allows you to increase your capacity or your threshold for tough shit that life throws at you. And then next, ask yourself, why do I do the things that I do? Why do I skip the gym? Why did I skip that gym that day? Well, I got stressed out and I decided not to go. If you think about it from that perspective, you skipping the gym after you had a stressful day is just going to stress you out even more, because you're going to keep looking in the mirror time and time again and wonder why you haven't progressed, when it feels like all you wanted was for your body to change or recomposition. But every time life gets tough or you get stressed, you say, fuck my goals. In what world would you ever expect yourself to be confident? In what world would you kill the insecurity you have within yourself? If life comes at you and you decide to completely abandon all the things that you know you deep down want. All right, next we have to analyze your patterns. What do I revert back to when shit hits the fan? It's easy to be the best version of yourself when life works in your favor, but what happens when it doesn't? What patterns do you consistently fall into? You have to disrupt the patterns, break them, and then rewire your way of thinking, rewire your brain to be able to get you different results. If you are currently trying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you're not getting the result that you're looking for, look at the patterns. And then you look at what cycles can I identify in my life. Okay, I stay consistent for about 2 weeks and then I fall off. And then I try again for 2 weeks and I fall off. And I try again for 2 weeks and then I fall off. Why do I keep wanting to fall off here? And coach yourself through it. A lot of this is being able to lead yourself through it. And I had to learn this the hard way. Next, let's get into the actual constructing of the machine. And so building the perfect machine allowed me to utilize synergy and efficiency to always maintain the best version of myself. Constructing the machine or sound structure allows you to have something to fall on when shit hits the fan, when life gets tough. When you have a plan of action, when you have a routine, when you have a set of things that you know you're going to do every single day to get you where you want to be, when things start to get stressful and overwhelming, because you have so much clarity and conviction about what it is that you're doing and the structure and the plan that you put in place, it won't matter because it's so clear as day what needs to be done to get where you want it to be. You never doubt yourself. You're not like, oh, is this the right thing? It is the right thing because you've been precise, you've been detailed, and you've built the structure necessary to be able to trust this plan is going to get you where you want to be. So it's no more questioning. Because I've noticed that a lot of the times what happens is that when we have a stressful day, we think about going to the gym and we really don't want to. So our brain will play devil's advocate and convince ourselves, well, how do you even know that you're doing the right thing in the gym? How do you even know it's going to be worth it? How do you even know that what you're doing is going to get you where you want to be? Your brain will start to question yourself and then you'll be like, yeah, you're right. And you'll be like, I might as well not go today. Let me sit here and think about a new plan and then I'll implement it tomorrow and then we'll be good. That's exactly what it sounds like for not just myself when I was in this predicament, but also for a lot of my clients. They have so much mental chaos going on because they don't take time to sit down and build a plan with strategy, structure, precision, detail, that when they do have a stressful day and they're faced with those questions, they agree with themselves because they're like, yeah, you're right. I really don't have a good plan. Yeah, you're right. It probably isn't very detailed or precise, or it might not even get me where I want to be. So by implementing as much detail and precision to this machine as you can, you're eliminating that, oh, what if it doesn't work? You know this works because you put your effort into building it and making sure that it was going to get you where you wanted to be because you care about your goals. So a couple of the key points with your machine, synergy and efficiency. So making sure that this aligns with your schedule, your goals, your current state, and the things that you enjoy. If you build a plan that you hate, how in the fuck are you going to stay consistent with that? Consistency is hard when the days get tough and you don't want to show up after you're tired up from work or you're stressed. It's not supposed to be hard to adhere to because you hate the plan, because you hate the cardio that you've programmed, you hate the lifts that you've programmed. Excuse me. You hate, excuse me. You hate the nutrition that you've planned for yourself. That's not why this is difficult. Strong structure. Like I said, you have a set day of the week when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. You have a set range of exercises, sets, reps, rest times, all kind of stuff that you're going to do in your plan. It's not left to that day to decide or the day of to decide. Everything is planned out and strategized so that whenever you do have to switch to autopilot, everything's already ready for your brain to follow. Next, being proactive and setting yourself up for success. In times when life is chill and life is good and things are easy, work on this. Give it everything that you've got. And then when it starts to get busy and difficult, know that you've built a plan when things were quiet to get you through those times when chaos starts to arise. So when it comes to building your perfect machine, you want to work on building your training schedule. When are you going to lift? When are you going to do cardio? What are you going to eat? Why are you going to eat those things? Build a cohesive plan that's structured enough for you to be able to know why you're doing things, the purpose for doing them, so that when you feel like you want to fall off, you know the why behind every single thing that you do. And then, you want to build your training and your nutrition around your goals, your current state, your schedule, and the things that you like. All those things are going to make sure that this machine is efficient and that it's something that you can stick to and something that's moderately enjoyable. And then lastly, number 4, we have mastering efficiency. So I wanted to ensure I was getting the most out of my time so I could continue living my life to the fullest. That's why I always have to make sure that that mechanism we're constructing here is always being efficient. So if my schedule changes, my responsibility changes, whether it be with work or, your kids or your family responsibilities, whatever you got going on, make sure that you're constantly adjusting your plan to fit that in it. Because if you're not adjusting the plan that you've built with your lifestyle, efficiency disappears. So I kept refining the plan to be able to make that fit into my schedule, my lifestyle. I tried doing this multiple times when I was younger, and it felt like I always had to give up my entire life just to be able to maintain my physique. And so I realized that efficiency was what made everything effective. So efficiency equals effectiveness. And if your plan is inefficient, the results are going to be very hard for you to keep, which is why a lot of the times we regress. And so if you're not consistently updating the structure based on making sure that it's congruent with your current lifestyle, at some point the disconnect will be really causing a lot of frustration for you, causing you to quit. This mechanism and your physique is something that's supposed to enhance your life, your health, your wellness, not consume you and not be some vanity metric that you're obsessed with keeping because you're insecure in all other areas of your life or because you want to be viewed a certain way. This is about transforming your mindset, building confidence, building a lifestyle that is all going to equal that physique. When your lifestyle and your mindset equal the physique, you will forever be able to keep it. And you'll also be able to keep it with much more ease, allowing you to live and enjoy life to the fullest. That is the whole point of this. But achieving your dream physique and kind of conquering your mindset and your mental lapses is what truly allows you to live life to the fullest extent. And so that's why I always encourage people to embark on this journey of transforming themselves physically, because it bleeds into all other aspects and areas of your life, allowing you to teach yourself how to lead yourself through tough things that can then be applied to other difficult things in life and difficult journeys that you will experience in your lifetime. So this is why it's very important to me, and this mechanism has allowed me to have something that I could trust so that I could be my most confident self while also enjoying time on vacation, going out with my friends, hanging out with my girlfriend, doing things with my family, traveling. So I've been through a few periods or seasons in my life where this consumed me due to insecurity, but allowing myself to tackle and conquer myself mentally and figuring out what it was that I was truly lacking and struggling with while applying this mechanism that is something that I can apply to my schedule now is what yields me the dream physique and the dream lifestyle. And so it gives me not only fulfillment with how far I push myself physically, but also within the confidence I have in myself, because throughout this whole process, I have showed myself that I will lead myself through tough times, that even when I have 0%, that even when I'm struggling, that even when I feel like I have nothing left to give, I will always be the person who drags me out of it. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you probably already train hard and eat relatively clean. When you pair those two things that you already have, that good base that you already have, with this 4-tiered mechanism here, that is when you will get those results. This will allow you to have structure, precision and detail, mental discipline and fortitude, as well as helping you tackle and escape those negative cycles that you may be experiencing. Just know that transforming your body is basically you becoming a new person, because who you currently are right now is someone who does not possess the physique and probably the life that you want. And in order to get the physique and the life and all the other goals, you will have to become a new person, because the person you currently are does not possess those things. In order to do so, you need to create standards for yourself to live by and stop negotiating with the current you or the old you or the person who has the physique that you don't like or the life or the habits that you don't like. Stop negotiating with him or her and begin to accept that you need to level up. I hope that this video helped you guys. I hope that you can implement the PIE mechanism into your current strategy or structure and get better results. If you are struggling with anything that I mentioned in this video and you want me to help you learn how to lead yourself through it, as well as showing you nutritional and training strategies to help develop your physique, I will leave the application to my coaching in the description of this video. And if you're a good fit, I will personally be reaching out to you. As always, don't forget to do hard shit, be confident, have the courage to be uncomfortable, but most importantly, do not forget how much I'm rooting for you and how much I love you. If you're interested in seeing how my client conquered being skinny fat, I will also link that video right up there for you guys, but I will see you in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all.